Welcome back to Retro Inc. episode 54 with the lovely and wonderful Jeremy. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. And Andy, man, how are you, sir?
Really scrumptious.
Lovely. Talking of which, we watched that this afternoon.
Indeed.
We watched a little bit of Chee Chee Bang Bang.
Did you?
Yeah, we did. And
bless you.
had a little bit of a sing-song. So, good week. Been watching anything particular, Andy?
Yeah. Well, talking about things today, I actually inadvertently have terrified my daughter, and now she won't sleep in her bed because I was watching The Hobbit earlier, unfortunately, and that will terrify anyone. But yeah, she walked in at the moment. I was kind of tidying up, and she walked in as Gollum was being a bit psycho in the cave, and freaked her out a bit to the point she was standing there just crying, staring at the telly. I was just like, well, just walk away from it and go in the other room. You don't stand there in front of a train watching it come out. You move out of the way. But yeah, actually last night, I watched a series that is on, I think it's on Netflix or it's on Amazon Prime, one or two, but called White Gold. Now, I don't know if either of you heard of this, but it's got Jay and Simon from The Inbetweeners in it, and some English fella from, I think it was Gossip Girl. They said he was the one who was unfortunately sort of caught up in this sexual harassment case last year, but he got thrown out of court, and now the new series is coming back on, and it's been held up by a year because of all of this. But
is this a series about double glazing?
It is indeed.
Yeah,
it's set in 1983. And they are a small double glazing business, and it's a bit weird. I think if you watch it, you got to let it get its feet. It's only 6 episodes; they're half-hour apiece. But the first couple of episodes are a little bit off the wall, and he breaks the fourth wall a lot. The main character is always talking to the camera. So how it even starts is him talking about stuff, and it's very meta as well because he's talking to the viewer, knowing that this is set in the past. Because he's going about how they're window salesmen, not the ones like that have become hated and blah blah. This was before all that, so he's kind of self-referential. But it's a good little comedy. He's an arrogant, horrible. There's nothing about him you like, but for some reason you're kind of rooting for him. It's a very well written series for the main character to be that horrible, but you kind of like watching him on this sort of journey of self-destruction. He's arrogant, over the top, but he's great at his job. And yeah, it's just their shenanigans of selling double glazing. That sounds absolutely terrible, but they capture the 80s very well. I think the language sometimes is a bit off for the 80s. But yeah, just even the aesthetic, everything about the cars, the shops, the outfits, it's really well done. It's a nice, fun little series. And it's like I say, it's only 6 episodes. So give it a watch. I recommend that.
Is it quite a dry humour? A little bit like The Detectorists, if you've seen that, where you just think, hang on, these guys are just metal detectorists. What could be so funny about that? But there's humour in it, and it's very dry.
It gets a little bit well, that's what I say about how it has to find its feet, because the first couple of episodes kind of pin it as a comedy. And then some stuff starts to happen, and it kind of gets really real at the end of one episode. Something major happens with like the main character, and it becomes more of a drama over the next sort of 3 or 4 episodes. I think when they first probably started writing it, it looks like they kind of was just going to do a Monster of the Week kind of affair with it. It's just going to be a silly comedy. And then they started building this overarching story that flows through the last 4 episodes. Like they kind of find those characters and they go, hang on, we've got something here that we can, work on. And yeah, it turns into a sort of semi sort of like dark comedy, bit off the wall sometimes as well. Obviously with the two of them from Inbetweeners, they're stupid, and that's what they are. There'll always be, fart jokes and stuff like that with them too. But the main guy kind of turns it into a drama. It's really weird, to be honest with you.
So worth checking out.
It is. Yeah, it's like I say, it captures that yuppie 80s. They're always, he's always wearing a suit. They're always getting on the gear and, all of that through it, because it's the 80s, and he's a salesman. And that's the thing. I mean, he's not like a door-to-door that we know now, or the 16-year-old that sits in the call room phoning up about double glazing. This is back when it was a new thing. And, like you said, he's always like breaking the fourth wall, and he's always talking about how he's mugging people off. And, this is a product that costs a pittance compared to the old-fashioned wooden frames, but he's selling it at 600% markup, and he's robbing people blind. And like one of them bets another one of them in it that he can't sell new windows to someone that had new windows a couple of weeks ago. You know, and they're that much of cutthroat crooks that they're just out there trying to screw over everyone that they can for their sales. And yeah, that's what I mean. It's kind of hard to place it. I wouldn't say it was anything like In-Betweeners with comedy.
But it grabbed you enough to watch all 6 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was just going to put it on in the background and thought I'm not much of it. The
so
main
that must have
guy
finished about 4:00 in the morning, didn't it?
It did, yeah. The main guy. The only thing I can compare him to is I was watching it, and do you remember Game On?
Yes.
The first series, the first Matthew, the dark-haired one, because what's it, Ben something, isn't it? He become quite big in Hollywood for a while.
Yeah, he's done very well, hasn't he?
That's why he stopped doing Game On. He reminded me of him. His character in that, real brash. I mean, it's almost like I was watching him. He's just more confident.
Yeah.
He's a real confident. This guy knows what he wants, and he gets everything he wants. You know, he walks out of his job because he wants a company car. He stays out of his job for 3 weeks, and he comes back, and the boss has got him a company car, and he's like, "No, I don't want that. I want a BMW." And the boss goes and gets him a BMW. You know, he's letting me. He will get what he wants, and he is Matthew from Game On. That is the only way I can describe him. But watch it, guys. Yeah, what have you been watching?
Did you manage to watch the end of Hobbit as well?
No, and I don't know why I was watching it, to be honest with you. Because I know why I was watching it, because I had to do the tidying in the front room, and I thought if I put this on, I'll definitely want to tidy, which is what happened.
Won't draw your attention, will it?
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, to be honest, it's weird. Like, I don't like those films, and I think it's because it's comparable to Lord of the Rings.
Well, it's not. That's the problem.
No, exactly. Had the Lord of the Rings not come out, I kind of think we might enjoy him more.
Yeah, I think.
But when we know what he's capable of, and that's what he gave us for The Hobbit. I mean, the use of CGI is garish in that trilogy. We had the Lord of the Rings where they made all the Uruk-hai and the orc costumes and everything. 90% of this movie is CGI. I think they just made it for a quick buck. You know, it costs a lot less to do that, and that's the route they went with. And it's such a shame. It really is, because that's what I think. It loses its charm. I don't think it's the storytelling. I think it's lost its charm.
Well, Jeremy, watched anything this week apart from what we watched last night, of course?
I've started watching Supernatural, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to the development of it and see what goes on. But yeah, it's good fun. I'm really enjoying it.
Where are you up to?
Oh, still in the first season.
Cool. It's a good series, mate.
Yeah, and I'm really enjoying it. I can see why you'd get hooked. I understand it goes off the rails a little bit, season 8 or whatever. I've started catching up on the latest season of The Walking Dead. I've watched the last Rick Grimes episode, spoilers, which was okay, but it looks like the ones that are coming after are going to get a lot better. So I'm looking forward to them. I'm not going to say what happens to Rick because it's a bit odd. But yeah, I've finally caught up with Fleabag, which I started watching a while ago, and I finally ran to finish watching it.
Any good?
Really good. Really good.
Because I want to watch it, because I like Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and I like the premise of that series, but...
I mean, there's one more episode coming out of this season. I haven't watched this season yet, but...
It's the final one, isn't it?
Yeah. And then they're not going to do any more.
No, her and the girl that plays her sister in it have both said that is it. There isn't... She's got nothing else she wants to do for that character, because it's written by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fourth wall stuff in that as well. Which
I love that.
I like. It's weird. It's not the normal British comedy, to be fair. It's unusual. There's a lot of darkness in it, but it's really funny, really funny. So yeah, I'd recommend that. Definitely watch that if you can.
Yeah, I know me and Stacey probably enjoy that together. That one.
Yeah, it's really good fun. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I mean, I don't know anything else she's been in other than
Solo.
Yeah, and of course she directed Killing Eve, of course.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So there we are. Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, it's really, really good. I watched The Creeping Terror again the other day, which I found out on Amazon, which was one of my guilty pleasures. That's a terrible, terrible movie, but I'm strangely addicted to it.
Mate, we've all got them.
Yeah.
I could happily sit there and watch the Mario Brothers movie, and I know I'm wrong for that. Okay, but
I think the Creeping Terror is probably a lot worse than the Mario Brothers movie. I watched that. What else did I watch? I was going through Amazon and seeing what they've got. Just a load of random retro rubbish, really.
sorry, talking of Amazon, if you go onto our website and click on the links, if you're going to buy, excuse me, lost my voice. Hang on. If you go onto Amazon and click on the links, buy anything from there, it gives us a little kickback, so that'd be nice.
Yeah, definitely should do that, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night, well, Jeremy and myself, we met up yesterday, and last night we watched Attack the Block with our two boys, and we had to kind of cover their ears a little bit with the old swear words, but they loved it. Especially those aliens look fantastic.
They did.
Thick,
Freddie actually
very
said to me
black
today
coat, and those.
that the female one they killed first is creepier than the male ones.
Yeah, it was. But cracking film. It's kind of like a 15 Doctor Who, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's like an episode of Torchwood almost.
Yeah.
It's got Doctor Who in it.
Well, it's got Joe in there.
And Finn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's great.
Brilliant film, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been checking some stuff out. I've rewatched Lucy.
It's just gone onto Netflix, hasn't it?
Oh, sorry. It's it's been on Netflix, and rewatched that again, which
love that movie.
Was brilliant. It was one of those things you think, well, it's been a while. Check it out. It's pretty brilliant.
When I had Sky Movies for a while, that was on there, and I must have watched Lucy probably about 6 or 7 times in a month, I think.
What's Lucy?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Movie. You not seen it?
So the premise basically is that she's in Thailand, and she's a young American in Taiwan basically, and she becomes an unwilling drug mule for this really sort of very high tech narcotics. And stuff happens, and unfortunately, she's carrying it in her body, and it gets released into her system and activates superhuman powers. It's well shot.
I have seen that. I may have seen
It's well shot. It's got it really it's got some great tension, some great action, and it's really worth checking out. And you like Luc Besson. I mean, you're a fan of Fifth Element, Aaron, so you kind of like the way he shoots things. On a very different level, I watched The Highwayman, which is about 2 steely former Texas Rangers are asked to track down Bonnie and Clyde. Kevin Costner, Woody Harrelson, Kathy Bates, brilliant. I'd highly recommend watching that. It's a bit slow to get going, but once you get the grip of the story, it's really good. Sicario 2. Did you like the first Sicario at all?
I haven't watched it.
No, it doesn't interest me, mate.
It's, I thought, well, I'll try and give it a try because I watched the first one, but it is what it is. Turn Up Charlie, which is also on Netflix, which is fantastic, with Idris Elba, who's a sort of down-and-out DJ who plots to rebuild his music career whilst working for a nanny for her most famous best friend's wild 11-year-old daughter, and is really great. He's such a brilliant actor. Possible James Bond, don't you think? Still, do you think there's a possibility of that? Mr. Craig, or do you think perhaps he's just a
too
little...
old for it now, isn't he?
Do you think?
That's what I think the problem is. Had they have gone just after Skyfall, if they'd have chose Elba, I think you could have probably got away with it.
Yeah.
I know he's up for it. I know Judi Dench is up for it. I know the British public is up for it. I don't think anyone would ever question it. I mean, I don't care about race, gender, whatever. I mean, if you're right for the role, you're right for the role. And there is no one in my eyes better for that. The person they're talking about now is...
Cillian Murphy, isn't it?
Yeah, Cillian Murphy, and also the guy from Game of Thrones played Robb Stark. He's in The Bodyguard, that new series. What's his name?
Yeah, he could do it.
He could do it. He's young enough, and it would start up a new James Bond again, and that's what I think we need. As much as I like Elba, I think he'd be too close to Daniel Craig. And I think if you reboot, we need to reboot in the old-fashioned Bond way. But anyway, that's a totally different rabbit hole to go down, isn't it? There,
it certainly is. So let's go on to and move on to listener comms, and we've had a fantastic review, haven't we?
Yeah.
From
Indeed. If people want to get onto iTunes and give us a lovely review like this one, it really does help us out. So this one came in, and this is from Old Man Hogan, which is a great username. I like that. So 5 stars, great podcast, a really enjoyable podcast with a laid-back vibe. 3 mates talking is so passé. Very nice little use of an accent there as well. But these guys make it fun. Keep it up. Look forward to each Friday for the podcast. Thank you, mate.
Thank
Whoever
you very
are,
much.
Old
Whoever
Man
you are.
Hogan.
And if you're a member of our
Brilliant.
podcast group, our Facebook group, make yourself known. If you're not, come and join us there. Plenty of activity and fun again.
And if you're downloading us on iTunes, why haven't you given us a review? You literally open the app to play the podcast every week.
Scroll down,
hit review. You haven't even got to write anything. Just hit 5 stars, submit. It's nice if you write something, because I will read it out, minus any swears, but they won't get through on iTunes anyway, I don't think. So
no, they're a bit hot on that. So
they are indeed. Talking about listeners, though, we've had some lovely little. I've found the stats for where we are around the world now, and we actually reach a lot of people. It's quite fun to see this. So obviously, UK would be our biggest, listener base, but we're now in the UK, US, Australia, Canada, Ireland, Sweden, Kazakhstan, repping it, Spain, Japan, Maldives. Someone went on holiday there, didn't they? Thanks for that. Belgium, Germany, Mexico, Denmark, India, Czech Republic, Hungary, Indonesia, South Korea, Panama, Poland, Portugal, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey.
Thank you so much, everybody who's been listening.
I love it when people go on holiday with their phone and download podcasts while abroad, don't you? That's really nice of them.
And if you
it's
are
costing you a lot in airfare, this, isn't it, Adam? Like,
no,
it's great, isn't it?
If you are out there and you're listening to our show wherever you are, thank you so much for listening, and thank you very much for downloading, and make yourself known.
To be fair, if you're in one of those lot of countries that I said and you're listening to us, stop showing off about being bilingual. All right? It's not impressive, it's not big, and it's not clever. Okay? And maybe I should talk a bit more like common, innit? Do you know what I mean, fam? Yeah, and then they won't understand me at all. The old apples and pears, Gov.
That's right. Moving on, what else have we got for this week's show, Andy?
What else have we got for this week's show? Well, I actually posed a little question to you two earlier on in the week. Because I was sitting there, and obviously we are full endgame excitement has kicked in now. I mean, you can hear it in my voice, can't you? That it is absolutely full blown. I cannot wait for this movie. I mean, so much so that before we started recording to Jeremy, I was 2 weeks early, I think, on the release date when I was getting all excited for this Friday. But yeah, a bit premature there. But yeah, so we're full blown into it. And I was just thinking about the Fox acquisition. And
before you do that, though, let's just go over very briefly what we were talking about before we started recording, which was the fact that you've tried to get some tickets for Endgame.
Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Everything is crashing.
Yeah.
Everything is crashing. People were having trouble with their websites. I know it wasn't just here in the UK. I know America had a lot of problems. There was you see some stupid tweets from people, tweeting cinemas chains saying you had a year to prepare for this. No, nobody could prepare for the influx of people trying to get tickets. I mean, as far as I'm aware, that this is the fastest selling pre-show tickets for a movie of all time. Midnight showings are completely sold out around the area. I know that the cinema near me is doing a double bill. I think it's Infinity War and then Endgame back to back, which is just mental because that's over 5.5 hours of viewing there.
Yeah, but a good 5.5 hours.
Oh, it'd fly by. I think, to be honest, I don't know if I could do it though, because I think all the way through Infinity War, I'd just be able to get up and walk around and I'd feel sick through anticipation because I get silly before these big releases. But yeah, it's just mental, isn't it? I mean, I haven't got my tickets for opening night, and I'm not going to do it. I can't go to the midnight viewing. I'm getting too old for that. I get home and I'll have like 2 hours sleep before work. But yeah, I was sitting there thinking about this, and I was getting hyped up. And it was when the tickets went on sale. I was sitting there thinking about the Fox acquisition, and obviously I've got this. I put my theory down on the previous podcast about it, the special we did about the X-Men, and Disney have kind of said that if they do this, they're going to recast them all, and except for Deadpool, will probably be the only one that's safe, right? So they recast all of the X-Men. They have announced at CinemaCon that Disney announced that the New Mutants or whatever the film is coming out this year.
Yes,
they are still releasing it,
and
they are releasing it this year. And I think that was them saying, "We'll do this, and then that's it. We'll reboot from there. That's their movie. They've already done it." But I was sitting there thinking about this recasting, and honestly, it was fun to think, who could we have in these roles now? Because this is what I was saying before on that theory one about if you put someone in Wolverine's shoes in the Avengers, nobody's going to care. And that's the stage we're at now. There's this whole hype about what's the future of this new X-Men. Nobody's questioned what's going on. Everywhere I've read about it is not what's going on, is how are they going to do it? The difference is, they're going to reboot this, but how? We're in a era of reboots. We can deal with this happening on the scale of the MCU. So, it's something to look forward to. So I sent you to the question of who would you recast in your main roles as the X-Men? I thought you didn't have to write anything down, but it was just kind of more like a round table, really, of sitting here and going, who would we want in those roles? Because a lot of names kind of jumped to mind, but I'm sure I'm probably missing a million and one people that are potentials here. So
can I chip in first with my potential Wolverine?
Yeah.
It's Robin Atkin Downes. Now, he played Angelo in Suicide Squad. And if you want to have a look on IMDb and check his cast photograph out, you'd probably go, yeah, he looks
Which one
about...
was Angelo?
Which one was Angelo? He was... oh, goodness. It's kind of hard to sort of describe.
Do you know what? It's not a terribly bad shout, to be honest with you.
Thank you very much. There we go. Look at that.
There you go, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the potential that I'm seeing.
He looks like a moody Hugh Jackman.
A moody Hugh Jackman is a little bit chunkier, but then Wolverine was really, wasn't he? He was short, squat, and feral. But this is.
Do we know anyone like
that? But this is the potential I see. Like when they did Spider-Man, they brought in a relatively unknown with Tom Holland.
Mm.
And it works because there's no expectation, I think, when you get an unknown in a role. Instead of seeing, they turn around and said to you they're going to put like Luke Evans in the role of Wolverine, which has always been a thing that people have spoke about. There's an expectation of a known actor of what he's going to bring to the role. When they say we've got this so-and-so doing it, everyone goes, oh, okay. This is a bit weird, isn't it? You bring someone like him in and everyone goes, oh, yeah, I saw him in that, but he didn't really do much. You want to know, you're going to see what he's bringing to it rather than have expectations. You don't know what he can bring. So that's an interesting one.
Jay Courtney is the other guy that I quite like in there. I think he's the guy who also played Boomerang.
He's Boomerang, yeah.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
I think, again, it's keeping it fairly Australian. Well, it's not Australian. He's actually, I think... Is he from Australia? Yeah, I think he's born. Yeah, he's Australian. So you don't want to get confused with New Zealand and offend people. But no, I think he's another one who I think, again, could play a good Wolverine.
See, my choice for Wolverine would be Scott Eastwood.
Yeah, he's good.
He looks like a younger Hugh Jackman, and I know that's kind of a bit of a loophole to, get someone in that role, but...
Someone we need for Wolverine, though, needs to have been around a while. So he can't be too young.
No, but what you've got to remember is Hugh Jackman started this role nearly 20 years ago. He was that age when he started doing Wolverine. It's because if you're going to be doing 10 more years of this new arc, you're going to need someone that's young enough to do it. And that's the problem with things like we said about Bond with Elba. He's the right age now. But in 8 years' time, 2 movies down the line, he's going to be nearly 60. Right, and this is what you've got to look at now. Yeah, okay, we're looking at Hugh Jackman's Wolverine now, but he's an established character over nearly 20 years. You get someone like Scott Eastwood in the role, he's grizzled enough and mannish enough to take on that sort of mantle, but in 10 years' time, he's still going to look youthful enough to be able to pull that off. And that's where we've got to think with these kind of things, is we've got a long road of this character potentially. And
Josie, anybody you've got in your head for a potential role?
I think Tom Hardy would have been a fantastic
Absolutely.
Wolverine.
that was the other one I had there.
Yeah.
Venom now, I think that's out of the question.
Why? Because it's not in universe. They've said that they will not be mixing those two over.
Yeah, but will they want to chuck him in there? I don't know.
I don't think so now. No.
Maybe not.
But he would have been fantastic because he can do. Because in stature, he's not overly tall. He's he can get himself in a fantastic condition.
Yeah.
And he can simmer and growl better than anyone else around
He's
at the moment.
fabulous. He's fabulous. Have either of you seen the Percy Jackson films at all?
We have. Yeah, I have, yeah.
Logan Lerman as Cyclops was...
Yeah, that's a good one, mate. It's
or him.
I like that. Logan Lerman's a good little actor as well. For Cyclops, I don't think I had... God, hang on, I'm just going through my notes here. I didn't have anyone for Cyclops. Yeah, see, I like that. He's a good little actor. I had two for Beast that I wanted to bring to the table, and that was Will Poulter.
Yep.
Or Tony Kebbell.
Both good.
Yeah.
Tony
and they
Kebbell
they could both do with a role like this, I think, to really launch them.
The thing was, Tony Kebbell, I was on the fence of him as Wolverine as well. Because I really like Kebbell. I think he's got a real serious, smouldering face. I think the guy's an amazing actor as well. I think he's brilliant. He just owns every scene he's in. But I think him, because as well, if you look at Beast, I mean, really, he's just a blue version of Wolverine to a degree, isn't he? You know, with the hair and everything. So I think he could pull off both.
Yeah,
but
I think Robin Atkin Downs is definitely Wolverine there, mate. I think quite.
Sorry, mate.
Tony Kebbell was Kong.
He was, yeah.
So even if they did a stop motion or motion capture version of Beast, it'd be perfect for that because he was a lot. Because
he also did one of the apes in. Yeah, he did the mocap in that. He was in the film and he did the mocap as well, didn't he?
So I think he could do that.
Yeah, see, Tony Kebbell is one of those people, like you say, I think he needs a role like this because I think he needs to break into Hollywood big time because in my eyes, he's one of the future big names. Like, even in Fantastic Four, I know people do not like that movie. He is brilliant. His portrayal of Doom in that he is Dr. Doom in that. I am correct, aren't I? He is. I'm sure it's Tony Kebbell in that film.
Can't remember.
But
Will Poulter,
if I'm wrong,
Will Poulter, I think, is fantastic.
Yeah, he doesn't. Have you seen We're the Millers with him?
Yeah, and he's also in Maze Runner as well, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's also in Voyage of the Dawn Treader as well.
Yeah, I think he's spot. I think he's spot on.
Eustace Clarence Grubb.
Yeah, and he's great. He was supposed to be it, wasn't he? In the
he was supposed to be Pennywise, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He'd have been better.
I think he would have been a little more Tim Curry. He would have been a little bit more playing it up a bit.
Yeah, maybe they were trying to get away from that.
Yeah. So let's go for the big two because I have the Magneto and Professor X. So, Professor X, I have my obvious answer that I would choose this man in any role ever, Mark Strong.
Yeah, good one.
But the other one I have is Ralph Fiennes.
Yes. Charles Xavier for me is Daniel Craig.
You see, I've got him down for
Magneto. See, I had him for Magneto. I had him sitting on the fence between the two.
They're all good. They're all absolute. They're the sort of actors that we need for that. Those two roles.
Yeah, they'd bring different nuances. I think if you had Ralph Fiennes, he'd be a bit more Patrick Stewart.
I prefer him personally. I think if you see him with a shaved head, he looks like Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. See,
I think he would be a fantastic cast.
As much as I liked Strong, I think he's too serious. Mark Strong's I look at him and he could be, that Bond.
But then you'd see him in Grimsby. And
True.
He can do both.
Yes.
He can actually.
No,
yeah,
I think Fiennes is perfect. I think he's perfect. Yeah.
And he's a lovely man, and I've been 2 foot away from him and waved at him and went all silly because I went to the Harry Potter premiere and he was there, and I was
See, when you Harry Potter, I was thinking, could we put Daniel Radcliffe in there somewhere?
Daniel Radcliffe wouldn't make a bad Beast,
He would. He would be very good for that.
Yeah,
And it
'cause
would definitely bring more fans in from the Harry Potter.
It's not even. He's an amazing actor.
He's a brilliant actor.
he
He's
is.
so versatile.
Yeah.
Is he a
There
big
must be
good?
something that they could do for him.
I'm glad you both feel that with him, because I
Yeah.
think there was a time where it was very much, has he pigeonholed himself? And I think you could see in a few earlier performances that it was hard for him to break out of that.
Look at the
But
roles
now,
he's had as a far right.
Imperium, wasn't it, that one?
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness!
he
I
played
mean,
the,
Black,
Go with Horn
Black.
Swiss Army
Oh,
Man.
Horns,
They're
amazing. Yeah, he's
And what's the one where it's the dead body?
Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
it, yeah.
So good. He's brilliant
Really?
in.
he's a brilliant actor.
Oh, good. Yeah. Right. We do Magneto, and then we get onto the ladies, because I feel like we're being quite misogynistic here. The one I had for Magneto was Jason Isaacs.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Because, yeah, I think,
Again, you're bringing some Star Trek fans into the Marvel universe,
and Harry Potter as well, then, mate.
and Harry Potter too, which is
Yeah.
would
As he
be
played
yeah,
thingy, didn't
certainly. I think
Lucius
because
Malfoy.
Lucius Malfoy, thank you. Jeez.
I mean, you know they've got
Right,
their heads screwed on at Marvel, so you know they're already bringing Game of Thrones actors into the Star Wars universe. So why not bring in from the other franchises?
But as well, what I like about the choice of Ralph Fiennes and Jason Isaacs is they sit age-wise in between Stewart and McKellen and McAvoy and what's his face, the other one, Fassbender. They sit kind of age-wise in between them, so it would be clear that would kind of be a big finger to the Fox going, yeah, we know our timeline and this is it. We're going to sit them here.
Yes, I agree.
And then you've got, like I say, with those age, you've got enough years in both of them. They're still youthful enough to be able to put it off for 10 years. You know, but you get people like McKellen and Stewart in there. They're getting old. They're getting on. And look at Patrick Stewart. He's got this Star Trek series that he's doing again now. And, you know, they're getting on. And you don't want people too young in it, because otherwise all the other X-Men have to be kids like they have been in the new films. And I think that detracts a little bit.
You've got a good Jean Grey.
Who you got?
Now, I don't want to murder her first name, so it's I'm going to have a go at it. I think it's Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse.
Saoirse, thank you very much. Saoirse Ronan. Is she Irish?
She is indeed Irish, yeah.
So that's why I mullered it. So she was in Lady Bird, and she was also in Hannah.
Yeah.
She's
perfect choice for it. Yeah.
Perfect choice.
Yeah, I think she's an amazing actress. And yeah, she's got the chops to pull that off easily. I had, for Rogue, I had a choice of the Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then I couldn't. Oh yeah, I'll keep Pride. But the
yeah.
other one I had for Rogue was Alexandra Daddario.
Very good actress.
I would. Have you seen what's the one with the rock with the tsunami? What's the name of that film? The city gets wiped out.
Oh, Los Angeles, that one.
Yeah, his daughter in that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she's in Baywatch as well, isn't she?
But if we're gonna keep our Marvel heads on here, Millie Bobby Brown bringing Stranger Things in, it's a no-brainer. It
is a no-brainer. To be honest with you, I think if they go ahead with this, I would not be surprised if we see her turn up in some capacity.
Yeah,
these are the stars that Marvel are going to be going. We want them.
Yes,
we want them on our payroll. We want them on our screens. And you see young actors like these. Let's be honest. Even what's his name? Is it Finn Wolfhard? Who plays Thingy in Stranger Things? What's his name? Will. Is it Will? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Why not have him in some capacity? I mean, if they are going to do young, wouldn't he make a good Beast? Wouldn't he make a good Nightcrawler even? He's kind of got that look about him. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some of these kids popping up as well, because they're not kids for much longer now. I mean, they age so quickly at that age, don't they? And she started off and now she's becoming a woman. I mean, I think by season 4 comes out, she's going to be 16, 17 years old. And you're getting into that realm of, 10 years worth of film.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. In 10 years worth of film, she'll nearly be 30 if they're doing this. And that's what you've got to look at is she's going to play that younger character like Rogue. What better time to get her on board than now?
How about Sabretooth? Rory McCann from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, good call.
Rory McCann came. Oh, Sabretooth, yeah, he would be good, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Got everything. He's got the size, the build, the everything.
How about Tormund?
See, what would he be though?
I don't know. Can they just have Tormund in it as Tormund?
Yeah.
Just.
He might even be a Wolverine. If he could do an accent, put him as Wolverine.
Yeah, well, he does an accent, doesn't he? Because I think he's like Norwegian or something.
Yeah.
So
and he's good with facial hair.
He's very good with facial hair.
How about an Oscar-nominated performance from a young actor called Lucas Hedges? He was in Manchester by the Sea, and he got an Oscar nominated for that. And his name's he could be Iceman.
Yeah, why not?
He's a good little actor. I think he would be Iceman pretty good. So I'd check him out. He's
well, when I was having a little look around the interwebs, another name that came up was that Chalamet. What was he in? The one from the Oscar winner from last year. Is it Thomas Chalamet as Nightcrawler? Which, if you see him, excuse me, I'll get the name wrong, but yeah, he looks great in that role as well.
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, that's the one, Timothy.
Yeah, he was in Lady Bird and Call Me by Your Name.
That's the one. Yeah, so there you go. He's in it with Saoirse Ronan. So
Liam Hemsworth as Colossus, I think, is a very good call. He's obviously the brother of Chris, and he would be ideal actually as the super strong Russian.
The Rock in as Colossus.
Yeah, not.
See, the thing is with that. I think Dwayne Johnson's become his own entity now.
He has.
And I love the guy. I think he's amazing. Yeah. I think he's a inspiration, and everything he does seems to just be so much fun, and he loves life, and I think it's great. But I think having him on screen will detract. He has to be the star of the show, and that's not...
Yeah, it will be the Dwayne Johnson.
And that's not by any means any fault of his, because he bloody deserves it. Do you know what I mean? He's worked for this. A man that had no money in his pockets becoming the biggest celebrity on the planet right now.
Yeah, didn't he?
Yeah, it was $7 Productions is the name of his company, isn't it? Because of that. And, now the guy is a billionaire, and he's on the people to watch entrepreneurs list. His company was. And
I think Professor X and Magneto are big names that you need. Yeah. And I think he's a bit too big.
Yeah, but but I'm saying that's the thing. If you don't have The Rock, how about Batista as Colossus?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we can see. To me, they're two different things. They're the same guy because they are. They're cut from the same cloth. But Dwayne Johnson's an action hero superstar. Batista's a blooming good actor. And that's no knock to Dwayne Johnson. But every film he's in is Dwayne Johnson doing the thing that Dwayne Johnson does. And that's cool. Schwarzenegger and Stallone managed it for years. It's another guy's turn to do so. That's their role as actors. But we saw Batista in Guardians, and it was like, oh my God, this guy is actually really funny. And then I watched Blade Runner 2049, and at the start, I'm like, this guy can act. This is really impressive. And then we've got this new film coming out.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And then, really good in Riddick. But then we've got this other film coming out now that's a typical wrestler movie, the kid action film. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a spy film with a kid in it. And it's the typical, Hulk Hogan would have done type of movie. And this guy's covering all the bases. But the one thing I got from 2049 is he can really act. I didn't look at that. Good, yeah. I did, and that's why I think getting him in as Colossus you'll go, oh, that's cool. Batista's got a good role in this, rather than, hey, it's the Dwayne Johnson show. And that's the difference between them.
The thing about Liam Hemsworth is he's really brawn. He's got the right height and build, and he's a brother of Chris, and I think that's another.
I don't think he's big enough.
Yeah, but it writes itself, doesn't it? This because as well, how much self-referential jokes about he looks like Thor could they have in there? They love that stuff.
Oh, I think it'd be awesome. Yeah.
I don't think he's big enough, mate. But look at Chris Evans. If I play You Not Another Teen movie with Chris Evans in, you'd go to me, no way could that guy be Captain America.
To be fair, but
if someone turns around to you and said to you,
looked on in the movies,
yeah, but no, I know. But if someone said to you, I'm going to give you $30 million, you've got 6 months to look like this, I'd be done in 3. You've got that drive behind you.
To be fair, give me the money and I'll get you looking like that.
Okay.
So moving on to Storm. Yarada Shahidi is a very good actress. She's known for Freeform's Grownish and the show's spin-off, which was called Blackish. I don't know if you know those shows, but she's a really good up-and-coming actress, and I think she'd be perfect for Storm, unless you can think of anybody else at all.
I can. I'm just trying to think of her name. And this is a kind of a bit left field, but Natalie Emmanuel, the girl who plays Missandei in Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah.
Totally. I think because the thing is with Storm
I can see a lot of Game of Thrones crossovers.
There's
so much you can take from Game of Thrones.
Because it's filled with amazing, they're filled with amazing actors, mate, and that's why. And I mean, but I just look at, I think it's Natalie Emmanuel. She, with Storm always on screen, with Halle Berry especially, she's got quite a hard face, and I don't ever get the compassionate side out of her, But Natalie Emmanuel can do both. We've seen that in Game of Thrones. She's got such a I don't want to sound horrible, but she's got a pretty face. She's really soft features and everything, but I think when she wants to kick ass, she can, and I think she would be great in that role. And as well, again, it's not an unknown whatsoever. I mean, it's the biggest TV show on the planet, but she's a relatively unknown. Nobody really knows anything else that she's in, and I just think it'd be great to see people, like you say, that opportunity for people like this to get on the big screen. That's why I'd cast Peter Dinklage as Colossus. So,
any other actors you can think of?
Oh yeah.
Any other actors you can think of that perhaps will make any other roles?
Well,
or characters? Because I've got one in mind that I would really love to throw in the mix.
Well, this is the thing. When I did this, it was just literally, I didn't think about who I'd cast. It was people who I'd want to see, and then I tried to fit them in. Who's your other one?
Well, not long ago, some would have sneered at the idea of a singer from a boy band acting at all.
Don't ever dare say that man's name. I know who you're going to say.
If you bring up a Harry, we're in trouble.
Well, there is a character called Angel, and I think they're going to be bringing in a lot more of these sort of fringe characters. And I just think if you've got your Marvel head on and you're thinking, we need to really reboot the X-Men, and we want to bring a lot of fans to it, and we've got a great script, we've got good directors, and we want to get a really fantastic cast, and we want to get a lot of fans going to see these films. Harry Styles, I think, as the role of, and I think he's quite a pretty boy.
Okay,
I think the character Angel needs to be somebody that's got that kind of looks about him, and I just think a good shout. Unless Jeremy suddenly had thought.
No, I've just had an amazing idea for Magneto.
Yeah?
Tom Ellis.
Yes,
Lucifer,
what a great shout. He would be brilliant. He's a great actor. And again, this is a fan base that has caused the show to be reinstalled with Netflix.
I think with a lot of these movies, you don't need to bring in who was Hugh Jackman before he did Wolverine? I think these are the ones like Game of Thrones that make people.
Yeah,
I think better off bringing in.
Well, another name for Wolverine was Kit Harington.
I don't get that because
he's a little short for Stormtrooper.
Yeah, but Wolverine's 5'2", isn't
he? Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Wolverine is is a short, squat Canadian, and people forget that. It's
angry Canadian.
It's a good shout, though. I think certainly for Magneto, he's a good shout. He's a good shout. Yeah. So, are we done with the casting there?
I think so. We can sit there and do it for hours.
I have two more members of the X-Men universe I'd like to cast.
Oh, this is silly now, isn't
it? Professor X, I would like to have Adam Shelton. Because he's a very thoughtful, very deep person who can connect with people on a
and he's a slaphead
level.
Right?
Well, he wouldn't have to do a lot in the head department. No.
We'd have to get a Bic out. We'd have to.
I'd like to be the role of Professor X.
Okay, right. You get the Bic. I'll go get the baseball bat for the kneecaps, and we can turn into Professor X.
Thank you, Jeremy. That's wonderful. Thanks.
And I think
I would like that.
Andy would probably make quite a good Wolverine.
Cheers. I'll take that.
Because, you know,
I'll grow the mutton chops.
diminutive, maybe quite aggressive.
Quite aggressive? I'm not quite aggressive.
No, but you could act.
You're seeing me after this pod, mate, and that's it. All right? I'll show you that I'm not aggressive.
Well, I was going to go with the Thing, but he's not really one of the X-Men as much. So
yeah, it's clobbering time. Yeah, thanks for sending that to me. That's very kind.
I know you enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it. I just wanted those the other asset that the Thing clearly had as well.
They can do that with CG. You'll be all right.
That's brilliant. Right, so I think we're done with the casting, yeah. But you said before Andrew was talking, and we've had some lovely interaction from David in the Facebook group, haven't we, Adam?
Yeah. David Brown.
He's been great. He's posting all over the place. It's almost like we haven't got to do anything. But he sent in a good question, wasn't it? It was a little picture of Freddy versus Jason. It was who would you like to see versus, wasn't it? But then you asked him a question, didn't you, Jeremy?
Yeah, just a random top 10 of the slashers.
Which he lovingly did.
Shall I go through his list?
You can indeed.
Go through his list.
Now, his number 10 was Santa's Sleigh. 2005 Santa Claus, Bill Goldberg. And now he added this because he said he's a big wrestling fan, or maybe he added him because of the quality of an old school slasher. Not so much, but well worth a watch. Good acting by Goldberg and the rest of the cast to bring not so much joy to the season of goodwill.
See, I have seen this. I don't know if either of you two have, because I'm also a massive Goldberg fan. He's one of my favourite wrestlers. But actually,
what would be Goldberg? I didn't know she wrestled.
I think you'll find his name was Bill, and he looked a little bit different. But I actually love this movie. It's really good fun. Really good fun.
His number 9 is Funny Man, 1994, The Funny Man, starring Tim James. This was one of his, if you haven't seen it, you should films, because it's so bad it's good. The Funny Man is a demonic jester with a Cockney accent who has a very sick and funny sense of humour. Jeremy, have you seen this?
I haven't. I've never even heard of it until I read that, and I thought, that is right up my street. Definitely.
You've already hit purchase on Amazon, haven't you? This is on its way.
Funny Man, I've Googled the hell out of that.
Yep. Sounds good.
His number 8 is See No Evil, starring Jacob Goodnight. The character Jacob Goodnight, Glenn Jacobs. Released in 2006, the WWE wrestler Kane played a psychopath who lived in a direct hotel. The storyline was not the greatest, but the potential of the slasher was. Again, maybe it's just weakness for wrestling is his choice. Have you seen this film?
I've seen that and the sequel. To be fair, I mean, if you don't know a lot about wrestling, Kane is getting on for 7 foot tall, shaven-headed, funny eye, and he looks scared. I would be scared of Kane or Glenn Jacobs. Although he's now isn't he a mayor of somewhere in America? Just won an election. I'd vote for him just because I'd be too scared not to.
You walk into the booth, you're standing there. Who are you voting for? You.
Yeah. He's one of the few people who makes the Undertaker look small, so he's pretty big.
Wow. Okay. Glenn Jacobs.
His next choice is one of my favourite films. It's Psycho. He's number 7. 1960 Norman Bates, starring Anthony Perkins. Still one of the most iconic slashers today. The man was completely insane, talking to his dead mother and then murdering his guests at the motel. You just got to love Psycho, and you have. It's a brilliant film.
Psycho is my favourite of that kind of.
And do you think it's one of the best Hitchcock movies? Yeah, it's
my favourite Hitchcock movie. The remake, not so much. Gus Van Sant or whatever it was.
Yeah, wasn't worth
it. The Psycho again. It's a defining moment in cinema, I think.
Really Another one. Like it.
You didn't like it. This next movie, I think, is it's a classic. His number 6 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface, played by Gunnar Hansen. He says, I know others have played Leatherface, but nothing beats the original to hit cinemas in 1974, and nothing says run for your life more than some dude wearing some other dude's face for a mask, revving a chainsaw at you. And how right he is. It is a genuinely creepy film.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a classic.
Gunnar Hansen's autobiography is fantastic about that as well. When you find out about all the background stuff and how they made that on no money at all, it's a really good read or listen. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, again, it's a genre-defining moment. Cinema.
Whether you like that film or not, I think you can't deny its importance. So,
David's number 5, Jeepers Creepers, the Creeper, Jonathan Breck. A creature that is part of man, part of bat, but this is not one. This is one is not out to fight crime and bring bad guys to justice. Instead, he just wants to feed for 23 days on some unlucky people. First feeding frenzy was in 2001. Guys, have you seen the film? Yeah.
I really like Jeepers Creepers. Yeah,
they're just silly good fun, aren't they? Those type of movies. Turn it on, turn the brain off. That's what it's for, isn't it?
A bit like people do when they listen to this.
But no, they are that era of slasher. You know, I know what you did last summer, Final Destination. You put them on, and you're just watching a bit of silliness for an hour and a half, and that's just turn your brain off. And it's good for that. It's got some genuine creepy bits in it as well. So.
His number 4 is the absolute horror classic, slasher classic, Halloween. Michael Myers, as this is based on the slasher, it doesn't matter who played him, really. He was a monster of a man in his overalls and with William Shatner's mask. Michael knew how to kill, and kill is what he did best. Original was released in 1978, and it's another movie-defining moment in horror, isn't it?
Halloween was the movie that got me into horror movies. I recorded that. It was on the telly. I'm not sure what channel it was. I know I didn't start to watch it because it passed my bedtime. But I watched that over and over and over again. It's an amazing movie. And I really like the one from last year as well. I don't know if have you seen that yet?
I haven't yet, no. To be honest with you, I've noticed something about myself. I can't do horror movies anymore. I actually genuinely get scared. I used to watch them on even zombie films. I'd sit there and I'd watch zombie film after zombie film. I can't do it now. It actually turns my stomach a little bit and I get a bit freaked out. I think I become soft. But yeah,
you're talking to me too much. This is what's happened.
It might be that, mate.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I agree with you to the importance of Halloween. I got into horror movies through Scream. Was how I got into slasher sort of horror movies. When that came out, I was about 14, and there was a VHS that I owned it on VHS, and it did the rounds at school. Everyone was just like, "Oh my god, you've got Scream!" It was, and I loved that movie, and because of that, I watched Halloween because I knew it's how much it was parodying it and referencing it, and I watched Halloween because of that, and in a way, I think it made me enjoy Halloween more because I think at that age, watching a film that was that old, I would have probably just gone, whatever. But I sat there and I watched Halloween with more of an open mind because I knew its importance towards a film like Scream, and I retroactively made both of them better in my eyes. But yes, even now, put it on, I'll be hooked. It's a great film. Classic.
Good choice.
We chose, wasn't that one our number 1 for Halloween movies, I think that we chose? Yeah. So
we chose, yeah. So I'm sorry, David, you're wrong in first place, but
no, that's Halloween movies. That was, mate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. David's number 3 is Child's Play, Chucky, Brad Dourif. This one
just landed on Netflix, by the way. You two, that's
it has, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
This one was one creepy little so-and-so. Where do I start, he says. Well, in 1988, when this film first aired, my sister had a talking cricket doll. I'm not sure how many of you have ever seen one, but believe me, when you're a preteen and you have just watched Child's Play, you don't want to be in the living room in the same neighbourhood as that talking doll, let alone the same house.
Preteen? This age, mate, I wouldn't.
Child's Play, Chucky... Now, the controversy around that film when that came out was absolutely massive, and it was because of some child abduction by some children and some various nasty, horrible things. But apart from that, What do you guys make of this? And obviously, we've talked about in the last show, Mark Hamill now doing the voice of Chucky. But this particular film from 1988, what do you think of it? And your quick comments on it.
Classic.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it. Absolutely.
David's number 2, Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund. The slasher of your dreams. Well, your best hope is not as this guy was a real nightmare. I'm sure a lot of you lost sleep after watching this when it first released back in 1984. The newer version was not anywhere near as good in his opinion, but was still a good watch. And it really, again, it started a whole...
the perfect bad guy.
How many were there of this from this franchise?
Oh, there's like
5.
There's more than that, isn't there?
There was 5, and then there was a New Nightmare, and
then there was Freddy vs. Jason.
Freddy vs. Jason, and then there's a remake.
I love the remake.
I enjoyed the remake, but I think with Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, when that came out, that was, I was 13, 14, and it was the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen.
Absolutely.
My wife now, even now, we can watch. Yeah, she doesn't like horror anyway. She will not put that on. We watched the remake at the cinema, and for a week we had to sleep with the bedside light on because she is terrified of it. And it is like you say, he's the perfect villain. You cannot get away from him because he will come to you in your sleep. And there is one thing, aside from eating and breathing, that we will have to do, and that is sleep. There is no... And you can't stop yourself sometimes. You sit there and you just nod off. And that's terrifying.
And he gets you in so many different ways as well, whether it's coming through the bed, coming under the bed, coming through the ceiling, coming through the walls, coming through the window. Doesn't matter. He's just there. He will just get you.
The evolution of the character was fun as well, because he started out as just a maniacal bad guy, and then he really became funnier and more sadistic, I think, as the films went on. And
it gets sillier, doesn't it?
Yeah. But then you really started rooting for him because you want him to talk to you.
Well, that first, the first film where she's in the bath and the glove comes out of the bath, that affected me for about 4 years, where I couldn't sit on the toilet properly. I was terrified of sitting on that toilet after seeing that scene. I would just think to myself, every time I was near some water, was that hand going to go and throw? Terrifying, mate.
My bit was the going up the stairs and the stairs going all mushy. And you couldn't get away from him. That was the bit. Can you imagine not being able to get away from someone? Whoa.
I know, every Sunday.
I think it was the first horror film I think I'd ever seen. I think, really, like a proper horror film, sitting down with friends watching it, and it just... I think that's what turned me off watching them ever again. It was just too much, to be honest. But he's number 1.
Drum roll.
It's Friday the 13th. Yes, it was. Same as Michael Myers. It doesn't matter which one, as it is the slasher that he has listed. The reason he's placed this at the top spot is if anyone was to find great ways to kill a bunch of sex-hungry teens, then Jason was the monster for the job. From a simple slashing them against a tree, in a sleeping bag, that was Jason X, to punching in the head clean off in part, whatever number that was. He had it all, but forgetting his epic bat. And not forgetting his epic bat with Freddy versus Jason. First one was released in 1980, but Jason didn't kill until the second one in 1981. He said he would have put the Evil Dead's Ash Williams, Bruce Campbell, as his number 1, but as it's not a slasher monster, but he's a slasher nevertheless. So I'm going to just add him there because he can, which was released in 1981. So Friday the 13th was his number 1. Good choice.
Yeah, again, it's a franchise. It's great fun.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it up there above Halloween and Freddy, but...
It's his choice.
Yeah, it is his choice. I think if it was me, it would be... If you're going to talk actual slasher, I'd put Freddy, Mike Myers, and then Jason. But if I was going to say franchise, I'd put Mike Myers top of that. And then
I should also point out we're discussing somebody who's got 3 boys called Michael, Jason, and Freddie. So it's a bit of a fan.
has he really?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
I don't think Chucky would have gone in there as well.
David, I've got to thank you, mate. It's a comprehensive list. It's fantastic for us to go through this with, with
a
a
very understanding mother of his children as well.
Yeah, of course. Really amazing. On the subject of crossovers, though, he was saying that he would like to see The Evil Dead versus The Walking Dead. And what versus movie would you like to see?
Oh, blimey.
Mike Russo, he said Marvel versus DC, and I agree with him. That would be amazing.
Star Trek versus Star Wars.
Battlestar Galactica versus Star Wars versus Star Trek even. How about that one?
Quantum Leap versus the A-Team.
Who?
Quantum Leap versus the A-Team.
There was a comic series released a few years ago, which was Star Trek crossover with Doctor Who.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Which I always thought that would be very interesting. I'd quite like to see the Doctor on board.
How about the Borg versus the Daleks?
Yeah,
that'd be good.
That would.
No.
How about Borgs versus the Cylons?
That would be great too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, really good. What about Vader and his 501st versus the Cylons?
Oh, hang on. What about Red Dwarf crossing over with like Deep Space Nine?
Oh,
they just dock there.
What about Guardians of the Galaxy crossing over with Firefly?
That'd work. That would work.
Buffy versus Supernatural.
Buffy versus... Oh, that'd be a good one, mate. That would. Buffy helping out the Winchesters. Yeah, I like that.
So,
yeah.
Having watched that, I can see that kind of...
Yeah, that would work. Because it's very meta, their humour. There's a whole episode that you'll get to later on where Supernatural is a TV show that exists in the world. And it's very meta, so that would work.
What about Shaun of the Dead actually in The Evil Dead?
The problem is Shaun's rubbish. So
yeah.
It would last 5 minutes.
A shorter movie, but
sorry, just say Shaun of the Dead and I get pictures and stuff and yeah.
David, thank you so much, mate. Andy,
David, yeah.
What else have we got?
The next thing that we have on our list is our quiz. Week's quiz, obviously, as you can tell by the theme music, is Game of Thrones orientated. And the reason for that is because in 3 days from listening to this, when this posts, will be the first episode of Game of Thrones. And my wife has lovingly decided to go away for the week, so we won't be watching it together as first planned. And I'll be watching it on my own on Monday night when I get home from work. But I've been watching it back, and it's one of those series where a lot of stuff happens and you kind of think you've forgotten it, and then when you're watching it back, a lot of it, you've retained a lot of that information. Okay.
Well, we'll that, won't we?
So I've composed a quiz of 12 questions here. Okay. And because of the nature of them, it's a quick fire quiz. I'm not going to pose it to each of you individually. It's who gets their first quiz. And I am judge rules. Judge's decision is final. Okay. So whoever I think gets in first with some of them is up to me. So we've got 12 questions, and this is the first question 1. In the first episode, King Robert Baratheon says, "In my dreams, I kill him every night." To whom is the king referring, and why?
Yeah.
You don't have to give me character names.
Can you just say it again?
In the first episode, King Robert Baratheon says, "In my dreams, I kill him every night." To whom is the king referring, and why? It doesn't have to be and why. Just if you can tell me who he's referring to.
The Targaryen king.
Rhaegar Targaryen is indeed correct, Jeremy.
Yeah. Well
why?
done.
Can you give me why? Now you've remembered that.
He didn't like him very much.
Because he kidnapped Lyanna Stark, Ned's sister.
Right. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Got 1 point for that, Jeremy. Well done. So it all comes back. So now I'm telling you this. You're like, oh yeah, obviously. Get your Game of Thrones head on. You got 7 nights until it starts again. Okay. Easy one here for the two of you. What is the name of Jon's direwolf?
Oh, goodness.
Oh. No.
God, this is almost as vicious as some of the deaths in Game of Thrones. I'm going to have to give you 10 more seconds on the clock.
Ah, dear.
Think of what Jon's direwolf looks like. There's a clue for you.
No.
What else is
white,
white?
isn't it?
Hang on. Let me have a little think.
Storms. Cloud. Water.
Okay. I'm going to give you, right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer was ghost.
Oh.
Share.
Yeah. Okay. For a bonus point, okay, Arya's direwolf. Do you know that one? I'm going to throw an extra question in here.
Got killed really early.
5. Arya's one. No. Well, yeah, it did, but yeah.
No.
This is in season 1. Did it die?
No, I don't think it died in season 1.
Mm.
You're thinking of Sansa's there.
Oh. No,
Arya's direwolf was Nymeria.
Right.
Okay. Right. God, I thought you two would do better than this. Right. At the end of his training, what must an unsullied kill to prove he has no mercy or weakness? Grey Worm, love Missandei. Grey Worm, look like Kendall. No? God, you two are struggling here.
God,
5, 4, 3, 2.
His mum.
1. A newborn slave child.
Oh.
See, Jeremy's huffing here because he knows all of these. Say it. Say her name. Say it.
Pardon?
Say it. Say her name. Say it. Who said these words?
Tyrion.
Nope.
Oh.
Say it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You raped her. You murdered her.
Oh, cold.
Oberyn Martell.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. What noble house is Catelyn Stark from? This is fun for our listeners, isn't it? They can actually answer all these questions.
Yeah.
Let's hope they can. She was from a house of...
The eagle thing.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Oh, you're
1.
harsh.
House Tully.
Tully, yeah. And they're in the eagle, the tall tower thing.
They are indeed. Yeah. Okay. Why could Jon leave the Night's Watch since his vows were for life?
He was dead.
Because he died. Well done, Jeremy. I do love that episode. I watched that quite recently, where he's just like, right, I'm going now. Like, what? Yeah. See you later, Lord Commander. And he's like, oh, cheers. Right. When Arya Stark plays the game of faces with Jaqen H'ghar, Jaqen hits Arya with a stick when he knows she is telling a lie. Arya talks about escaping King's Landing and says, I had to kill a stable boy. I stabbed him in the back. Jaqen hits her. Why?
Stabbing him in the back.
Indeed. Where did she stab him?
Whereabouts?
In the chest, then.
In the stomach. But yeah, I'll give you that one because it wasn't in the back. It was in the stomach. Yeah, because he's trying to stop her so that he can expose her, isn't he? And then she just runs him through. Right. How many kings were in the 7 Kingdoms at the end of season 2?
Um,
Come on, you can break this one down. Think of all the people that are claiming to be the king.
season 2. So
Come on, name them, Jeremy. Come on, name them.
you had was Walder Frey one of them? I don't know if he was.
No, he was just a lord, wasn't he? So.
Yeah. I'm thinking. You had the king north of the wall.
Rob?
No.
No.
3 then. 3.
Hang on. Who's the one north of the wall?
I can't remember. You said how many. But there was the king north of the wall, wasn't there? There was the king of the north. I don't know if season 2. I don't think was he the king.
No.
Yeah,
Right.
Joffrey.
Yeah.
4.
I've got 4 fingers up here, and I couldn't tell you who the other 2 were.
Well, Jeremy gets that for getting in there first. They were Stannis, Robert,
yeah.
Renly, and Joffrey.
Joffrey. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Renly Baratheon, wasn't it? And Stannis Baratheon, both claiming. Right. What distinct feature does Brienne of Tarth recall about the entity that killed Renly Baratheon? You know, the Black Shadow.
Other than he's a black shadow and a ghost.
Yeah, there was a distinct feature that freaked Brienne of Tarth out.
Oh, wow. I remember seeing it.
She says it's Catelyn Stark.
Distinct feature.
Brought to life by the most beautiful woman there is in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a guess at horns.
No. Jeremy? It had Stannis Baratheon's face. Which chemical was used during the Battle of Blackwater?
Oh, the green stuff. Dragon's
breath.
Dragon's blood or something like that. Dragon's breath.
No. 5, 4.
No, I'm not going to get it.
2. Wildfire.
Well, yeah. The green stuff that blows everything up.
Right. Just to save our listeners, we've only got 2 questions left. What is the name of Arya Stark's sword?
Needle.
Thank you, Jeremy. Well done. Adam, unless you can get... Right. Adam, this one's for 6 points to beat Jeremy. Because currently Jeremy's on 5, you're on none. So this is for 6 points. Who was the hand of the king before Eddard Stark?
Oh. It didn't end well for him, did it?
No, it was shown at the very beginning when he died.
I can't remember his name.
Was it was it
I'll give him 10 seconds.
Balon?
No, it wasn't, mate. It was John Arryn. Well, that was painful. Yeah, I'm clearly more of a Game of Thrones nerd than
You are.
You just watched them all again.
Yeah, for the 3rd time. So yeah, but clearly, I don't think you need to need to worry about next Monday because you clearly don't like Game of Thrones. So.
Hey, look,
Sorry, my wife's just walked in. I've just done a quiz of 12 questions. Jeremy got 5, Adam got none.
Oh,
I know.
I just watched Battle of the Bastards.
I've got a sense of that now.
Yeah. 2 hours 11.
It's fine.
That's fine. It's a title name. But yeah, well done. Good think. Well done.
But I'm pleased.
I'm glad Rob taught me that truncate silence trick in Audacity to break down that 10 minutes.
Well, we're scratching our heads going, what?
Yeah. That's what. Right. Okay. Well, that was the quiz.
Great quiz.
I hope everyone enjoys Game of Thrones in a couple of days. Do post. Please be aware of spoilers, though. If you're going to post in the group, try and do it in the comments of something, pre-warning people. But if you want to jump in, I mean, maybe we should see about making a little separate Game of Thrones group.
Separate spoilery one, yeah.
Yeah, do you want to do that? Do you know how to do that, don't you, Adam? Make up something. Yeah, if you can make that up, that'd be great, because I'm going to want to talk about it, but I'm aware of the time. It's on at 12 o'clock at night, and if people
certainly
can watch
what we can do is we can certainly put a post up, and then it can be all in the comments below.
Cool. Yeah, do that. That sounds great. I mean, something just be aware that it's going to be on. So if you want to stay away from it, stay away from that post until you've seen the episode, basically. But I'm going to be watching it religiously over the next 7 or 8 weeks that it's on. So
8 weeks. Can't wait.
Mate, I mean, what a month that we've got here. We've got the start of the end of Game of Thrones, end game finishing up 10 years worth of Marvel movies and starting up another 10 potentially.
Potentially the start of another franchise of Hellboy and Shazam.
Yeah, I mean, Shazam's doing numbers as well. 51 million domestic so far, which is great for a DC movie of that sort of caliber. You wouldn't expect it with something like Shazam, so it's doing good money. And that was 51 million yesterday, so Lord knows what it's on today.
I've been hearing some great things about Dumbo as well. I know that's not so nerdy, but yeah, I've heard some very good things about it.
There you go, for 6 points.
Yes.
What is it about Dumbo that makes him the most unique leading character in a Disney movie?
He's got very large ears.
Well, aside from that, the one thing... Doesn't talk. There you go. Jeremy's on 11 points.
How is he using? Doesn't speak.
Only Disney character leading.
Can I point out? I've never watched Dumbo, but I knew he didn't talk.
You're not missing much, and it's only 61 minutes long as well. That's another fact for you about it. It's a bit of a weird one, that. For a film I don't like, I know a lot about it. But yeah, cool. So I think we're nearly done. Jeremy's got a top 10 for us, haven't you?
I've got a couple of top 10s. I asked Adam earlier to give me a random number. It said 23. So we've gone back to 1996. Now, 1996 was the year I obviously didn't listen to a lot of music because I'm lost to a lot of this. So I can only apologise. This should all be you then.
Yeah.
I spent all my time in
I released quite a few songs during 93.
Right, so the UK top 10. Number 10, I know this one. Jesus to a Child by
George Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good song.
Number 9, One by One by Cher. Number 8, I Want to Be a Hippie.
And I want to get stoned on marijuana.
I remember 8 and 10. Right. Number 7, Do You Still by East 17. There you go.
Right, okay, okay.
One of Us by Joan Osborne, whoever that is. Number 5, I Just Want to Make Love to You.
By
Hit me up DM afterwards.
That's Etta James.
Right, okay.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Lifted.
Oh yeah, because that was from an advert I think around then, wasn't it? Did they put? Yeah, and that's why it got yeah, okay.
Lifted by
Diet Coke.
Oh, what are they called? The Lighthouse Family.
Yep, that's right.
I saw them live, probably that year.
There you go. Number 3 is Slight Return by.
Oh, that's a familiar. Nope.
The Blue Tones.
Blue Tones. Yeah.
That one.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Anything by 3T, whoever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
We look forward to watching them in I'm a Celebrity one of these days. And number 1 is Spaceman.
By the one-hit wonder guy.
Baby Zoo.
Babylon.
Babylon Zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Babylon Zoo, sorry. I've done a top 10 of the movies of this year. So
clearly wasn't a good month for good year for music. That one.
No, I knew 4 of the top 10.
Yeah, they're not even big songs. That's the thing. I mean, Spaceman I think is a standout there because it is a good song. It's one of those.
But that was another one from an advert, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was from an advert. You're right.
It's just the chorus, And everyone's like, I don't know the rest of it, but they bought it.
Yeah.
Right, so the top movies of the year. Number 10 is Eraser. Which is an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Good film, that. Fun.
I like that.
I like
Number
the crocodile.
9 is... Yeah. Your luggage.
Yeah.
It says when he shoots it. Number 9 is a movie I don't think anyone's ever heard of. Jerry Maguire? Anyone ever heard of Jerry Maguire?
No.
I can hand on heart say I've never seen that. So, number 8 is The Nutty Professor.
Oh, yes.
Which I have seen. Number 7 is Ransom.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Mel Gibson, wasn't it?
And,
Number 6
is
101 Dalmatians.
I like that film.
It's a live action Disney.
I love that film.
They should have gone back to that, shouldn't they, really? Number 5 is another Disney. Can anyone guess what the number 5 movie of 1996 was? A Disney movie. Animated. Bearing in mind, more people watch this than 101 Dalmatians that year.
Fantasia.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I thought it was that remake. Oh, no, it's Fantasia 2000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame, I really don't like that film.
I don't think anyone does.
I do like the graphic style.
It's not great. They're doing a live action one of that, though. Yeah. There's 21 Disney classics being mooted for live action live action remakes, and that's one of them. That is. Might work better. Never know.
Number 4 stars Nick Cage and Sean Connery.
The Rock.
The Rock, indeed. Number 3 stars a diminutive action hero. Can anyone think what it'd be?
You wasn't rude about Jerry Maguire, was you? You didn't have a pop at him then. The guy had two of the top 10 films of that year. Don't have a pop at him.
Mission Impossible 2.
Mission Impossible. Number 1.
The first one.
The second biggest movie of the year starred Bill Paxton and I think Holly Hunter.
Oh.
Twister.
A Twister indeed. Well done. And number 1 was Independence Day, which for a while I think was the biggest movie of all time, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
It was for a while, yeah. Rightly so as well, because that is a really good film.
Unlike the second one.
Do you know? No, the problem with the second one is, it's the first one. There's as a film, it's okay. It's just completely unnecessary. I watched it and I'm going, I know the formula.
It's the pointless sequel.
Yeah, it's completely pointless. The one thing I do actually love about that film more than anything is the first introduction to the world as it is now after, 10 years after that attack or 20 years after, and the way they've implemented the alien tech. So around that football stadium, the TV screens are just floating about. But it's not garish, it's not over the top or stupid. It's actually kind of like, I think we would adapt that technology in certain ways. And I really like that part of it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But then the film went rapidly downhill after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, shame. That was a good year of movies.
So I looked up people who were born and died this year. And 1996 wasn't a good year for anything, really. Sorry for Independence Day, that was pretty good. But Tom Holland was born in 1996.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the only person I looked at.
So he's 23 now.
That makes me feel very old.
He doesn't look 23. He looks about 15 still.
Yeah, he's had an easy life, obviously, isn't he? Gene Kelly died in this year as well.
Did he? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a shame.
Yeah.
I love his stuff, man. Him and Jerry Mouse.
What was that movie?
Is it Ship Ahoy? Wasn't it? Was it? No. What is that film called? I'm gonna have to quickly Google that because I love that scene. I think that was the first use of mixing animation and live action, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Gene Kelly, Jerry Mouse. Right, what film was that from? Anchors Away. There you go.
Anchors Away,
yeah. That's a good film. I like my classical musicals anyway. Did you see Spielberg is remaking West Side Story?
Yes.
Oh, really?
We actually announced it on a very early podcast.
I think we did actually, yeah. But there's been some movement on that this week, so that's one to watch because that'd be quite, Spielberg musical, brilliant. I'm up for that.
Yeah, I'm up for that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think we're done for the week, aren't we?
We are.
Mm-hmm.
So, take it away, Adam.
Thank you very much. You've been listening to a Retro Inc. podcast production with myself, Adam, Jeremy, and Andy. We are a member of the Star Wars Commonwealth Podcast Network, and you can check out more of the Commonwealth at starwarscommonwealth.com. And you can go to our website, which is retroincpodcast.co.uk, where we'll find, hopefully, David Brown's new list of slasher movies. You can get in contact with us via Twitter and Instagram and the Retro Inc. Facebook page, and obviously our community on the Facebook group page too. And we also post our podcast on the Retro Inc. YouTube channel. We would love it if you put a comment and a review on iTunes. That'd be wonderful. Do give us some feedback via email to put in some questions for us and anything that you'd like us to have a little debate on.
Or just send us some cat pictures.
You could.
Yeah, we like cat pictures.
Yeah.
You could.
Like cat pictures.
Yeah, that would be great.
Especially retro cats. If you've got pictures of cats wearing like 90s and 80s wear, stuff like that. Would be cool.
Outfits, Darth Vader, whatever. Yeah, that'd be great.
Cosplay cats.
Cosplay cats.
Jeremy, that's it. That's our money make. It's our money making thing. Why don't we just get into it? We make small outfits for cats for cosplay.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Rocket Raccoon. That'd be brilliant. You could dress up as Groot, and you could have your cat on your shoulder dressed as Rocket Raccoon. So cosplay. We'll talk after. Carry on.
If they want to send us some photos or anything, or questions or comments for the show, Andy, what's the email address that they can send?
contact@retroincpodcast.co.uk.
That's contact@retroincpodcast.co.uk. Do check out some of the other Commonwealth podcasts, such as Talk Star Wars, if you want some Star Wars. If you're Tumbling Saber, if you want some more Star Wars. If you want something in the same kind of vein as ourselves, we have the Nerd Room in the Star Wars Commonwealth, and we've got Generation X-Wing and Rose Quarter and San Diego Sabres radio podcast, and the Sandcrawler podcast, which covers lots of vintage toys in the Star Wars genre. And, of course, there's the Tatooine Sons podcast. Guys, an absolute joy as always. Sorry to let the side down on the old Game of Thrones questions.
No, I'm fine with your Game of Thrones questions. You did well.
You did well. So we'll see you.
I personally think you need to go take a long, hard look at yourself tonight and sit and watch 7 seasons of Game of Thrones before Monday.
Thanks for listening to this week's show, and we'll see you on the group page as usual. Night, fellas. Thanks very much for a great show.
Hey, Macarena, aye.
Later. I'll be back. Good seeing you.
Hello there.
Hasta la vista, baby.
No, I'm going to Macarena because I know that you're never going to do the Macarena.
Hey, Macarena.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.